Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to the live stream this Saturday evening, or afternoon, or morning, depending on where you are in the world. This Saturday, the 9th of July. So I'm just going to be booting the game up very soon. Just going to reply to some of the comments we've got here before we get underway. Welcome, returning people. Logan W123. Am I playing on an emulator? I will be, but it's not technically the Mega Drive original version. You'll see what I mean when we load it up. Welcome, Hank, Lollipop, the Box, Sonic Stefan. Welcome, Mick from the 80s, Speed VR. Sonic Air, yeah, I had that pop up in a previous live stream. People recommended. Haven't got around to playing it yet, but I have watched some videos of it. I'm just going to open cold drink up because it's very hot here in the UK at the minute before we get underway. To reply to Speed VR there, no, I haven't actually bought Origins, and I don't plan to. It's a very disappointing release from Sega. The price alone had put me off before the game even got released, and after seeing just how many bugs and glitches and just how unpolished and unfinished the game is, and they're asking $40 for this game. It's about £37 for the Deluxe version in British currency. It's a complete rip-off, and it's a shame. It's a damn shame that this is how the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise is treated now by Sega. And you know, you've had Headcanon come out and apologise for the release. You know, I don't particularly hold either company in favour at the minute. I know they're under contractual obligation, but to come out after a game's been released, after everyone that was bought it has put their money forward to it, and then come out and say, hey, we're sorry, the game's a mess. We really didn't want it to be this bad. That's pretty, that's pretty bad marketing, and that's how you screw over the consumer. I'm so glad I didn't put my money up to buy that game, and that's not even going into the other problems with the game, like, you know, the inferior soundtrack for Sonic 3 that we're going to be playing here in a minute. Yeah, someone's just brought up Lester, I think your name is there. You know, if Sega can't put out a good version of their most classic games ever released, then what hope do people think they've got for releasing Frontiers in a good playable condition? It doesn't hold a lot of a lot of hope. Oh no, I totally get what you're saying, Jonathan. There, I know Headcanon were more than likely contractually obligated to not say nothing, but yeah, it's still a pretty messy thing. And then they come out and kind of said the game's not going to get patched, but then a lot of people got angry at it, and then they kind of replied to it saying, hey, we didn't say it's never going to get a patch, it just, you know, might not get a patch. Yeah, I guess there's some of the videos out there of the game, some of the long ones with compilations of glitches. You watch it and then you start laughing just how funny like some of these glitches are. But then you get halfway into the video, at least this is how I felt, and you kind of just feel sad that like this is what the Sonic franchise is like. This is what it's become now. This is how Sega treat it. I'm pretty sure no one really would have cared if the game was delayed another 6 months just to be a more polished version of what we should have got. But yeah, Yeah, the new characters they put very misleading. When they meant new characters, they kind of technically weren't lying, but they kind of were. The new characters being, Knuckles in Sonic 1. I think a lot of people were expecting, Amy, Rose, definitely, probably, or if not Amy, then at least put Mighty or Ray in. I mean, they've already got the sprite models from Mania. Surely they could have just ported that across. Yeah. So no, my morals alone didn't touch it. If anyone wants to get it, I would recommend waiting for it to go on Sal, because it will soon. I promise you soon. I kind of was talking to a friend the other day, and I reckon maybe sometimes towards the end of August, you'll see it on Sal. And then maybe, if you're really that interested, pick it up then. I checked the charts when this game came out, and it was really low in the charts. And because it's a digital only release, you can go by the sales listing on like the Switch eStore, for instance. That is what its actual sales are, because there wasn't a physical release, which was another cheap move by Sega to cut costs by just having it digital only. And it was really low, really low. So it's not sold well. I checked the Japanese chart on the Switch eStore, and the Switch is definitely where it's going to get most of its sales, and it wasn't even in the top 30. And you think that's one of Sega's most, some would argue their biggest, most recognizable franchise. Now they've kind of more so relied on making money from the Persona and Miku and the Yakuza games. But yeah, anyway, there'll be plenty more rambling of Origins as we get going, I'm sure. We're going to be playing Sonic 3 on a vastly, vastly superior Sonic Collection game. And to be honest with you, it's actually my favourite Sonic compilation game, at least, that's been released. Let's get this underway. And I'm going to be replying to the comments as best as I can as they scroll next to me here. Apologies if I miss any, but I will try to do it as I'm playing. So yeah, we're actually booting up Sonic Jam, which, as I said, is by far my favourite way to play the classic Sonic games. It is emulation, unfortunately, because I need a HDMI adapter for my Sega Saturn, and I haven't got one of those yet. Sonic Fan 97, you're playing Klonoa. Great game. I've downloaded the demo a few days ago and I really enjoyed it. I do plan on picking it up. Welcome, Samuel.
Sonic Jam.
So I've actually got the American ROM here. I didn't actually realize I've got on here. Really, the PAL one, because I'm more used to the Mega Drive. But it'll do. It's the same thing. So what I like about the Sonic Jam is it actually has real variations to its game compared to like Origins has got. It hasn't got Sonic CD, no. That would have been too much. You've got to think this game came out in 1997. We will turn the media source down. There we go. That should quieten down a bit. So we've got normal, easy, original. We're going to go straight on with the normal mode, which does tweak and change some stuff around in the game. What a lot of people don't realise is Sonic Jam. These games on here, these aren't actual emulation. Now, obviously, I'm playing this on an emulator, but if this was the original copy of Sonic Jam I was playing, these classic games aren't actually emulated on the Saturn. They were actually built, designed to be played on the Sega Saturn hardware, and the result there's there's some slight changes from the original release, especially when it comes to sound effects in the games. You will hear that some of the chimes, you know, like Sonic jumping or hitting an object, will sound a little bit different compared to what it does in the original. Okay. Probably not going to play Sonic and Knuckles this time. We're just going to do solo Sonic 3 on this stream, but whoops. Maybe we'll do Sonic and Knuckles another time. I kind of just wanted to do solo Sonic 3 experience today on the stream. Okay. We are going to try to go for the Chaos Emeralds though. It does feel like I probably should have checked the controller before I started this for input lag. Because I'm not sure, it might just be the controller I'm playing, which is just a wired USB controller. Might need to just get used to this a little bit. Whoops, that's not good. Okay, this might take a little bit of getting used to. Not usually this bad. And also, we'll make this actually a lot easier if the controller's giving me a bit of issue. There will be no speed up on these Chaos Emerald levels, so you'll notice that it won't actually speed up. You can hear straight away, as long as you can hear it clear enough now, that the sound effect of Sonic hitting the blue sphere is actually different compared to the original. Obviously, it's playing on a CD this time, as opposed to it being on a cartridge, where some of the stuff sounds different. Jonathan, oh yeah, I've just seen your comment, Jonathan. Absolutely, that Origins is not a complete write-off. It's not all bad. There is some good stuff. The animations definitely, and how it syncs. The cutscenes are okay. Okay, we need to get used to the controls here. But there's just more negatives than positives, and the fact that the original versions of the games aren't even the original versions, they're just the Origins versions, but just in a 4:3 aspect ratio. That's not the original games. For them to say play it in the original, it's not the original. And one of my major gripes is the fact that it's permanently got a smoothing filter on the game, so it's got that kind of smeared look. It hasn't got the natural pixelated look that the original games should have, and the fact that it's got no shader options is quite embarrassing, to be honest with you. When a simple emulator like this can, you know, can do it better. Is if the game gets a patch. I think they can fix a lot of this up. Excuse me. But with things like Sega delisting all of their original Sonic games off stores, with the exception of the ages versions of Sonic 1 and 2, but the fact that you couldn't even buy the original versions of the games on like Steam or whatnot, just kind of hurt Origins even more so. Like, did Sega not look at the backlash Rockstar got when they delisted their Grand Theft Auto games before their messed up trilogy released? Clearly not. It's like history repeating itself. But yeah, who knows? We may never even get a patch. It would be nice if at least Sega or someone could come out or whatever and say, hey, don't worry, there's a patch coming. But I think with what we've been given, there's been previous collection games that have offered so much more. The fact that this game, Sonic Jam, come out like, what, 25 years ago and has done a better job at it is, yeah. And the fact that you've got the Sonic World, the Sonic Museum on here, which I'm going to have a little, a very brief little look at after we've done Sonic 3. Yeah, I'm going to have to jump. Yeah, nearly. Welcome, Daijin, Deku Blaze. Yep, Origins does have some good things about it, but the negatives by far outweigh the good. And there's a lot of reviews that are misleading on YouTube, and most of them have all been bought by... They're bought reviews, let's be realistic here. When Sega are sending you a copy of the game for free and they're saying to you that this is not paid by a review, they don't honestly understand what paid sponsorship or whatever is. You're being sent the game for free immediately, so of course you're going to have a different opinion compared to someone that's paid full dollar for it. Welcome, Dreads, the Echidna. I absolutely love this boss theme from Sonic 3. It's a shame it doesn't get reappear in when it's locked on with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but yeah, it's awesome. This is quite a funny Origins glitch here. When it goes to Act 2 now, Sonic immediately just pans to the middle. It's like he appears in the middle of the screen as it goes forward, as opposed to it just starting naturally now and going across. It's just laughable. It really is. It should have included Knuckles Chaotix. Hell, it should have included anything, to be honest with you. As I said, the collection games we've had out in the past have done so much better. Probably the best example is the Mega Drive or Genesis collection game that came out like 10 years ago. It had like 40 games on it. It had like all the Sonics as well as a load of Mega Drive games. It had filter options, shader effects, whatever, and exclusive interviews on there at the time regarding Sonic. And the game retailed for less money than what we've been given with the Origins. As I said, if Sega hadn't delisted their original games to be accessible, and if the game was retailed cheaper, I don't think it would have got nowhere near as much hate. No, it is hate, or dislikes as it has now. Because people would have been, hey, the game's not great, it's full of bugs, but at least we can go buy the original on Steam or whatever. But Sega, they're not in a good place. They're not in a great place. If anyone's curious or read any of the news, they shut down all their iconic arcades in Japan. They're all gone. They've all been sold off to Geico. So some of the arcades that have been there since the late 80s are now gone. As I said, it's both frustrating and also sad, as I said, just to see that this is what the company has become now, which is a huge prime example of why I'm not looking forward to Frontiers at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want to see Frontiers fail. I really hope it's a great game. I hope it's brilliant. I hope they can pull off exactly what they're promising of being, Sonic and an open world. But I've not got high hopes, and I definitely will not be buying it on launch. We will be waiting to see what that game looks like after it's been released before I even consider getting it. Speed VR, what collection? Good question. I think definitely Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and they must have the code still for that game, because they did the HD re-releases about 10 years ago. You can still get it on the PS3 and Xbox 360. In fact, it actually still plays on the Xbox Series X, and it plays brilliantly on the Xbox Series X because it runs on the SSD. The load times are brilliant. If you want the most ultimate experience to play Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, the Xbox Series X is definitely the way to go. But a collection of like the more modern games, definitely Sonic Adventure 1, 2, Heroes, and I guess if they're going to go with it, why not put Shadow the Hedgehog on there? Might, you know, then again, they would have to up the rating to a 16 rating, which is what the Shadow had, so they probably wouldn't do that because they'd probably think that's going to hurt sales with an age restriction on it. And then probably with all the with a lot of controversy, it seems every day now about guns. I can't see Sega ever re-releasing that game. But 06 Unleashed in colours would be great. I don't ever see it happening. But has anyone played the Project 06? I haven't got, unfortunately, a PC to play. Yeah, it is a tricky bit. So I haven't actually got a PC strong enough to play it, but I will have at some point. And the Chaos X, is it? He's done an absolutely incredible job remaking that game, essentially, and fixing a lot of the bugs and glitches. Sonic and Shadow's story on it, I believe, is live, and I think Silver's being worked on now. It's actually like a completely new experience to play the game. It's really brilliant. Okay, that's obviously Knuckles bit down there. Where am I going? Probably should have connected the other controller than this one. This one isn't great, but I'm not going to stop now. We're just going to go through it and get on with it. It'll make the game a bit harder. Yeah, I was really disappointed that Sonic 06 has not been given the backward compatibility treatment on the Xbox Series X, because that would have fixed its biggest problem straight away, its load times. That game running on an SSD would have been a breathed new light into the game. But if anyone knows what Microsoft are like, they've already announced that there's going to be no more backward compatibility games to it. So, I mean, in truth, we've already got great games from the Sonic on it. You know, we've got Unleashed, Generations, and All-Star Racing Transformed. Okay, so the vehicle here is so much louder on Sonic Jam. The aircraft, Robotnik's aircraft, you'll hear it. Listen to that. Well, this boss will be pretty easy with a flame shield. It's a good thing 06 was made by Sega and Nintendo. Yeah, they probably would have stepped in, right? But then, I believe one of the projects, I don't know if it's as easy to get a hold of as 06 is, that someone's done like a recreation of Mario 64, but with ray tracing. And that, from what I've seen of it, I think even Digital Foundry did a video on it ages ago. So, I think Nintendo might be not as strict as they used to be. Yeah, poor Towers. So my opinion changes with, although I'd probably say Sonic 3 and Knuckles is my favourite Sonic game of all time. I know it's a bit cliche, and I know a lot of people say, but it really is. There's so many factors to it, but if I had to split them apart as I'm saying now, and what one do I prefer best, Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles? I think my opinion changes every year or so, and at the moment I'm probably going to say Sonic 3, but Sonic and Knuckles is great too. Yeah, it's a really tough one. I mean, if I had to say least favourite zone, Sonic and Knuckles is going to be it. Most people are going to say Sandopolis, right? I suppose that's fair. If I'd say Sonic 3, I'm probably going to say, we're going to bonus stage, probably going to say Marble Garden, which is next. And I don't not like it, but if I had to choose my least favourite, I probably would say Marble Garden. Oops, I totally messed that up. Ice the Hedgehog. Oh, you did leave a comment just a bit further on. How have I got rare plushes? Well, I don't usually buy rare plushes. You know, when a plush becomes rare, I mostly buy. Whoops, yeah, I had the Flame Shield. Ooh, we don't want to die. The plushes that I've bought that have become really rare were plushes that were just common at the time or easy to get a hold of. They've just become rare. You know, I got the Soap Shoes plush, which has kind of become, one of the most sought after plushes amongst collectors now. But when I bought it, they were really easy to get a hold of. Now, obviously, it's become uber rare. But for collecting, that's a hard question, really. Just, I'd say go for the obscure characters when it comes to merchandise. You know, the Mighty plush that come out from Jax back in 2020 is quite hard to get a hold of now. So things like obscure characters, I'd say like that. We've got a Ray plush coming out soon, as well as a Wisp plush. I reckon those could be, they could become more rarer. When you look back at plushes that aren't essentially as old as the Soap Shoes, but maybe the Styx the Badger plush, for instance, from Tommy's Sonic Boom range, that plush is selling for stupid amounts of money, and I shamelessly turned my nose up at them when I remember seeing them in the store. There was loads in there. Now they've become so rare that I'm seeing them sell between $100 and $200 each. It's ridiculous. But as I said, obscure character that doesn't really have much merch, so it's the best kind of advice I can give you, really. What's your least favourite level in all Sonic games? Ooh, good question. I guess going back to 06, I think my least favourite on that, and I don't know about it all the time, is the one with Silver, where you've got to use your telekinesis to hit the balls that have got timers on them. I can't remember, was it the sand level? I can't remember its name now. That's definitely one of the ones I remember having Do you only do YouTube? Towers is running to the ring box there. You must really want those rings. I do only do YouTube, I'm afraid. I do have a couple of social media. Well, not really. I have a Discord, which is in the description of this video. Yeah, so this Sonic Jam version, you'll notice that them springs, they're not there in the original. That's one of the changes they made to it here, for instance. But yeah, feel free to add me on the Discord. I do have my Switch friend code and PS5 friend code. If anyone wants to add, more than willing to accept more friends. It's always good to have more. They should release 06 Remastered. I agree, but I don't think we're ever going to get it. But I do think Project 06 is the closest we're ever going to get to a remaster, and I would wholly recommend it if your PC can run it. Oh dear, that was... yeah, these things. Unfortunately, the only way I can play 06 now is by plugging up the Xbox 360. Wouldn't recommend the PS3 version. That really is, I find, unplayable. But the Xbox 360 version is definitely fine. Oh yeah, City Escape's awesome. You think you have me as a friend on Switch? Well, that's awesome. Great to hear. Haven't been on there for a few days. About a week actually, I think. I do want to get, as someone said earlier, Klonoa. That's I really enjoyed the demo. Never played the originals. It's kind of it's Bandai Namco, isn't it? Klonoa, like they've kind of really showed us how to release a classic game properly. Oh my god. The PS3 version of Sonic 06 has severe slowdown. It really is, it's horrendous. You can't even run through the town without there being slowdown. Whereas the Xbox 360 version, which is what the game was built and designed for, it has its fair share of glitches and occasional slowdown stuff, but it's nowhere near as bad as what the PS3 version is. Plus, if you've got a hard drive, you can install it to your Xbox 360, which will reduce some of the load times a bit, whereas the PS3 version, no, nothing. It's still long, even longer. Sonic Speed Simulator. Okay, we're going up that spring. We're going up there. Oh my god. I don't know, is that a fan game? Oh my god, what is going on here? And we can't even get in there. Okay, what a waste of time. No, I haven't played Sonic Speed Simulator. I have to check that out. Knuckles Chaotix in Origins. Yeah, someone said that earlier. They should have added anything. They could have put the Game Gear games in there. You think Sonic Adventure DX has 12 Game Gear games in it? And the entire Sonic Adventure storyline. And that's still retailed for less money when it first came out. Okay, we're not going back that way. I'm confusing it for where one of the special the rings are. It's on Roblox. No, I haven't played that then. I'm afraid to say. This time you're not going to get me. To think we should have had Origins technically if it was in a released state. Released last year for the 30th anniversary? Really seems odd, right? Releasing it for the 31st. Maybe they should have released it for the 32nd if they was going to do that, and it would be finished. There's a special stage here on Origins. You can't even make that jump. It just it won't let you up there. It's just a mess. I've always called it Hydro City, but some people seem to want to call it Hydrocity, even though the word city is spelt there, and if you just say the last part, you wouldn't pronounce it, you know, Citicy. You know, it's just, I don't know. Some people want to call it that, but I've always called it Hydro City. Now, from what I've seen, most people universally want to call it Hydro City. You have the Sonic mobile ports. Well, that's good. It's good that you've got them. Make sure you keep a hold of them because you won't be able to buy them again. Final 8. Welcome, Blaze the Cat Official. Almost missed your comment there. Welcome to the stream. And everyone else that's newly joined. I can't see the number that's popping up and down of how many are in it all the time, so I'm not sure how many people are in always. But welcome. Isn't CD already on console? Not anymore. It's been delisted. Sadly, Knuckles Chaotix doesn't have any ports. The only way you're going to be able to get it is emulation, which is a reason why the original game is stupidly expensive. In British pounds, it usually sells boxed in reasonable condition for like well over £200, which is like $300. Okay, we're nearly going to die here. We're not going to... We need to be careful here. Come on, Towels. Surely you can hit him. Adventure got ported to the PS3 and Xbox 360, and it is still playable if you have an Xbox Series X or S, or an Xbox One. You can play it from there as well. Doesn't get as much love from Sony. It may well be on their PS Now thing, but the quality's garbage because it's stream quality. It's not actually playing from the console. Whoa, Towers, where are you going? You really want to get there quick. Oops, I messed up there. I meant to go across. Oh dear, I'm really messed up here. I wanted the special stage over there. It's alright, there's quite a few on Marble Garden. Has anyone seen the Origins glitch with this thing where he goes through the rocks and then the rocks just continually keep falling throughout the whole level? It's, yeah. Yes, said earlier, the only versions that are available are the Sonic Ages versions. They're the only ones that haven't been delisted, which is why you see them on your iPhone device. Favourite Sonic Advance game? Good question. I do like the first one, but it's definitely a much slower game compared to the other two, so I'm probably going to say the third one. I really liked the team-up mechanic it had. But the second one's cool too. But some people might have seen it, or you all might have seen it. Has everyone seen probably the most game-breaking glitch in Origins, where you can skip essentially the whole of the game on Sonic and Knuckles? Is it? It's where you skip right to Hidden Palace. Here it is from Mushroom Hill Zone, isn't it? Where you just pause and click restart, and all of a sudden you appear at Hidden Palace. Oh dear. Third one is the most polished. Second one's cool too. I liked the running bosses in the second one, and it did have a pretty cool soundtrack, especially towards the end. They all did have good soundtracks, to be fair. I remember being so hyped for the first Sonic Advance game. But Sonic Adventure 2 was such a brilliant game, and coming straight off the heels of Sonic Adventure 2 was Sonic Advance. And I just remember being so hyped for it, which would have been 2002, I believe. Where am I going here? Right, we need to jump across. One moment, I will do this properly. Okay, that was not properly. Still, it's the last special stage, so I don't mind losing once. First, Sonic the Comic question, actually, which is pretty cool. We've been going this long. I'm not a fan of Sonic the Comic Online. I appreciate what they've done, because they are clearly big fans of Sonic the Comic, but I don't think it was ever meant to be a worthy continuation, because at the end of the day it's really got nothing to do with the original staff and involved, bar a very minimal effort from some of them. But I'm not really a big fan of it, but I can certainly appreciate what they've done. But it is always meant to be looked at as a fan-made continuation, and even the official staff involved that like it will agree that at the end of the day it's unofficial work and not an official continuation of the series. Sonic X, I do enjoy it. I like all of the shows, to be honest with you. My least favourite would be Boom, but yeah, I like Sonic X. I really want to pick up the Blu-ray set that was released a year ago, that's got the whole series on it. I have got some DVDs for it, but I spoke here in the UK, we kind of got cheaped out with Sonic X. We never actually got a the full series released in physical format. So I really want to get the Blu-ray set from Discotech, but it's quite expensive to get a hold of now. I think it's like about £60. I did pick up the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog set for Discotech released, and that was brilliant. It's got like every episode, all 66 episodes I think, just on 2 discs. Yeah, 4Kids did some good work. They weren't horrendous at everything. I really enjoyed what they did of the TMNT 2003 series. That was brilliant. You wouldn't even think that was done by 4Kids, sorry, due to just how good the quality of the show was. At the end of the day, they were told that they needed to tone down Sonic X and make it more appealable to a younger audience, so it's not essentially their fault that it was really butchered with the dub. And when you look at just how bad dubbing is now on anime, it's just unwatchable, because they just change stuff, unnecessarily change stuff. And since obviously when Sonic X was out, obviously very young, Now I can't do dubs at all with anime, with the exception of probably Dragon Ball, because you know it's what I grew up with. But everything else has got to be subs, and I can speak some Japanese, and even when I watch the subs, I guess with these companies like Crunchyroll or whatever, it just seems that they must hire amateurs because it's not truly accurate. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. The Meta X saga was really good. I really enjoyed that. And I think they did a really good faithful rendition of the Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 and Sonic Battle games. I think they did really well. Probably one of the most laughable bits from the 4Kids dub is the bit where Gerald Robotnik's about to be killed, and the 4Kids dub, they kind of made it look like he wasn't going to get killed. And obviously they forgot to edit out the gun noise, because when it goes off screen, you get shot, but you can still hear Gerald Robotnik talking. It's pretty laughably bad, but for the the right reasons. Yeah. You don't like Origins because you can get all the emeralds by hitting a checkpoint. Yeah, I read that was one of the criticisms. You can get literally all the emeralds like within the first level. Do you like the Japanese voice for Sonic Adventure? Yeah, to be fair, I've mostly only played it with the English voices because that's what I'm so nostalgic to. But I've done some with it with the Japanese voices, and it's fine. Yeah, the Maria bit, yeah. I just thought it's funny that someone didn't realise that they didn't remove the gunshot. It's just, yeah. No, we are playing, well, firstly, welcome, Prosecutor Walton. We are playing Sonic Jam, Sonic 3. Which is my favourite way to play these games. Oh dear. Okay, I'm going to give one good point to Origins, because it's just reminded me hitting this invincibility box here. The one thing I do really like is they improved the soundtrack for Supersonic. It's fine in the original version, but it does get quite repetitive quickly. I really did like the new version they did of it in Origins. I've got to give it that. I would say that's 1 point I'll give it over the originals. What are your favourite characters in Sonic? I guess not including Sonic, right? Because that would be pretty boring response. It's got to be Robotnik. Absolutely love the character. Love his designs in most of the formats he's been released in, whether it's comedic or serious. I know the character's kind of become a bit of a joke nowadays. Otherwise, it would probably be Metal Sonic, who unfortunately is another character that's kind of become a bit of a joke. But yeah, I'd say those two. Dark Oak's an awesome character that Jonathan's just picked up there. I really, yeah. I was a little bit disappointed that he had like he originally was a good guy and he was one of the Seedarians, wasn't it? Yeah, it wasn't like a deal breaker. I didn't like hate it, but I don't know, sometimes I just like a character to be bad just for the sake of it. You know, they're evil, inherently evil. They don't need to have like a reason for their backstory, you know. A character like the Joker or Frieza from Dragon Ball, for instance, like they're just evil, they don't have to be. So I was a little bit disappointed that was how it ended, but it was still fine. Sonic Jam is the original Origins. Yes, it is indeed. Yes, Robotnik is portrayed very differently. I think my least favourite is probably Boom. Again, saying Boom, because he's not really a bad guy in Boom, is he? He's more like a frenemy. He's kind of like the Plankton to Mr. Krabs, you know what I mean? He's like bad, but not like, you know, bad. Whereas even in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, like, you know, he's obviously a comedic guy, and the puns are big in it, but you know, you still know he's the bad guy, and he doesn't like Sonic. Oh, Tails, what are you doing? Are you trying to save him? Right, here we go. Cover Sega's ears, because we've got some original music playing. Pingers is the most iconic. Yeah, of course. Unfortunately, it took you know, years after the show's release that line became famous. I miss the early days of YouTube's where there was so many Robotnik, you know, videos on here. What was they used to call it? Like the Robotnik poop videos and stuff. The good fun days of YouTube before it became like a corporate shell of what it is now. In Sonic Boom, he's more like an angry neighbour than a villain. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to compare him. Oh dear, what are you doing? I'm probably gonna avoid using Supersonic in this playthrough. I find it more fun to do. I thought I could get in that one. It's a bit later, isn't it? I find it more fun to play as just regular Sonic. Plus, as I said, the soundtrack does get a bit repetitive for Supersonic. We're not going that way. Sat AM is your personal favourite? That's a good choice. I love watching that show. Although my personal favourite is Adventures, I can totally respect your choice of opinion there. It would definitely be up there high, like second or third. Yeah, I don't know if we know the original person that used the pingaz, who discovered it, who was the original person on the internet that discovered this legendary magical word that Robotnik muttered. Yeah, Metal Sonic I'd agree with that, he is the coolest rival. I suppose a lot of people would probably say Shadow, or maybe even some people would say Infinite. Oof. So, I got a question. What is the least favourite new soundtrack, or well, they're not new, they're the beta soundtracks technically, right, of the Sonic Origins for these levels? What's the worst one? I'm probably going to say Carnival Night Zone. They sound pretty... oh, this boss can be a bit annoying. We're actually going to use Supersonic for him. Ice Cap is okay as far as it goes in Origins. It's obviously nowhere near as good as the, you know, Hard Times original. Launch Base is really weird. I think one of the reviews said the theme track for Launch Base kind of sounds like the theme for the President. And when you listen to it, it actually does sound a bit like that in a little way. Weird. Mecha Sonic needs to return. Yeah, I agree. Infinite. Yeah, I guess it would make sense. I guess it's another character that's been made by Sega and then just dumped in a bin because we've not seen him since. He really should have been in Team Sonic Racing. Made no sense that they replaced him with Zavok. It really did make no sense. He should have been on Robotnik's team. Yeah, Marching Bound. Yeah, you got it. Sounds a bit like that. That's at least what someone said. It weren't. I didn't originally say that. I can't remember the video I saw it, but after reading or hearing it, I thought, you know what? Actually, that's quite true. Yeah, I think Ice Cap's definitely the best out of the new ones, and that obviously isn't saying much because it does sound sort of similar to the original. Whoops. Sorry, Towels. Thoughts on the Professor Layton franchise? I've never actually played one, but I've not got any negative opinions on them. They look pretty fun. The new girl that's in Frontiers, I must have missed that bit. I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of switched off entirely from Frontiers. I've kind of lost all interest in it, but I'm hoping it's gonna be good. And then maybe when it comes out, I'll see what the game looks and plays like, and maybe I'll pick it up. But I gotta admit, when I saw it on the Nintendo Direct, now I know it's obviously on the Switch version, which is going to be graphically inferior. There's no ifs or buts about that being on the Switch. But it looked like it had a lot of rendering issues from what I saw on the Switch version, which was, if you've played the Switch version of Sonic Forces, you'll know that that was a really bad conversion compared to the other consoles. So, yeah. Of course, it's just a trailer for a game in development, so it could just be that, but... I should just remaster the original games. Yeah, the rumours of Sonic Adventure 1 being remade, I guess turned out to be false, right? Unless the game is still in development, that's like what Sega are working on now. Or if they're not going to remaster it, at the very least just re-release the original Adventure 1 and 2 on a physical form. Okay, so one thing, someone might notice in the questions, one thing, and unless I've completely forgotten, is why does Knuckles not have a boss on this level? When you play as Knuckles, that is. Is it because the developers just run out of time? They didn't put a boss on here? I mean, they could easily have just copy and pasted the Robotnik boss and just put the Egg Robo in it. It just seems like a really... really odd thing. they had to obviously completely redesign the Marble Garden boss fight for Knuckles, so maybe they run out of time to put a boss in there for him for Knuckles, and it just happened to be one of the levels they had to cut. And I've just always wondered why, and I don't know whether there's been an official answer for it. Oh, there is a ring in there, but we don't need it. A lot of people seem to not like this level. Well, I say not like it, but a lot of people seem to say it's one of their least favourites in here, but yeah, we'll go in here. I love casino-themed levels, not just in Sonic games, but I'm a huge fan of things like... Life. Brilliant. I'm a huge fan of things like, you know, the neon light stuff, circus levels, things like that. I love clowns and all that sort of stuff. Towers, what are you doing? So yeah, whenever there's like a casino or a circus level, you'll definitely win me over. Sonic Heroes is a fun game. I enjoy Sonic Heroes. It's probably not going to get a re-release because it just looks like Sega aren't interested in their back catalogue. Okay, that's not good. It should have just turned into Supersonic. Yeah, if your PC can handle it, definitely just get a ROM of it. Make sure it's the GameCube or Xbox version though. The PS2 version's really not a great version to play. It's very choppy and got a low frame rate. Any ideas to why characters aside from Sonic always have boring super designs? Not sure. Welcome, Supreme Lord. Great to see you here. No, not at all. You're not late at all. We're only at Carnival Night Zone, so we've still got a couple of levels to go yet. A lot of people's favourite now, right? Ice Cap. And who would argue with them? It's a brilliant level with an iconic track and such an awesome intro to the level. Probably one of the best intros to a Sonic level. You gotta go? Okay, thanks for joining Ice the Hedgehog. Welcome, Dr. Bad Times. This is, well, I'm not the Fleetway, but I am a guy covering Fleetway who's a very big fan of Fleetway. Welcome to see you here on the channel. Yeah, this song and launch bass are awesome. Whoops. Could have easily just done Supersonic there and skipped the whole level, but as I said, it's more fun to play as Sonic, plus we get to hear Ice Cap, and who doesn't want to hear Ice Cap? Yeah, Hypersonic's cool. Kind of underutilized character, but a really cool concept. I enjoy him. Oh dear. Okay. Welcome, Goku dude. Which one is better, games or comics? I guess it depends on depends on what games you're talking about. If we're talking modern games, then probably the comics. Oh dear, we've just lost all the rings. We can't lose on this easy boss. Gonna have to play it a bit safe. There we go. Favorite level, boss, and soundtrack in Sonic 3? Ooh, that's a tough question. I think favorite boss is probably going to be Big Arm. Level is a tricky one. I think the best theme I'm probably going to say is Ice Cap. Might even say it's the favorite level. Really tough one, that. But I'll say that just because it's off the top of my head. Ice Cap and Big Arm. Oh dear. As I say that, I've just been crushed. Thoughts on Amy? Amy's fine. I like Amy. As long as the back here again. As long as the characters wrote properly. Oh yeah, she definitely should have been Origins. It was a given. I think most people were expecting her to be in Origins. But yeah, we didn't. In fact, we got a loosely based lie from the advertisement saying new characters. When in truth, it should have said existing characters playable in the first game. But yeah, Amy's cool. Yeah, that is true. Gotta give Origins credit for that. They did bring Big Arm back when you play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's not just not just when Knuckles plays now. Towers, what are you doing? And a new animation for it. Definitely, I've got to give them. You got to give them when credit's due. We'll give it to them. The comic is indeed based off the game. I really enjoy the Sonic 3 and Knuckles game adaptation in Sonic the Comic. 223 rings. Oh, that was close. So it's actually possible to skip this boss entirely in Origins. You can just go straight forward and then just hit the hit the capsule machine, and then you just skip this boss entirely. I wouldn't be fit to run this channel if I said Archie to your question, Goku dude. Do I like the IDW comics? I think they've done some elements that have been pretty cool in it, but I kind of did drop it. I kind of did lose interest. It didn't really hook my interest, to be honest. I'm amazed that the series is even still going, because the sales aren't particularly great for it. God, that's so much louder on the Saturn version. That alarm. But yeah, there's some elements I did enjoy. I have enjoyed. I think we can all agree, whether you like the writing or not in IDW, the artwork, for the most part, is always brilliant in it. Fleetway definitely adapted the games really well. It wasn't until we got to the Sonic 3D Blast game adaptation that they kind of really went off and did their own thing with the games. Yeah, the EXE certainly a random thing. I can't say I've ever actually played the fan game, but I've seen enough videos to know about it. It's an interesting one, right? A bit like the Towsdale sort of curse that people made up, in a way. Although Towsdale is actually an official character, but yeah. Well, whatever people find to get their amusement, right? I am quite a big fan of horror. So it's interesting, to say the least. Could you give a rough estimate on how much time passes in the Sonic universe when the comic is being read? Okay, so they don't... There's never been an official date given compared to the start of the series to when it ended, probably because the writers weren't allowed to by Sega, but not numbers, but the term years have been said by characters. So you're probably looking, I would say, around 7 to 10 years, I'm going to say, as an estimate. I can't say that's an official answer, but judging by how many times the characters have said this happened such and such time ago and this happened years ago, I'm going to say that's how much time passed from the beginning to the end of the comic. Welcome to the live stream, Uncool Skater. Great to see you pop back here on another live stream. And Sir Fax is cool. Had to squint there to see your name. Almost. You joined us quite close to the end of the stream, but you at least joined us here to see the finale. Towels. You, well, you're back. Otherwise you was going to be crushed to death inside. Knuckles does have harder bosses, but Knuckles is meant to technically be like the hard mode for the game instead. This boss is very challenging, I find, for Knuckles, because you've got to fight two of them, and obviously he jumps at a much lower angle compared to Sonic, lower height, I should say. I can't answer why Hypersonic's not in the comics. Maybe the IDW series will eventually write him in somehow. Who knows? Yeah, I guess that is true. He would be quite OP, right? It's like, how do you beat a character that's essentially as like a god? Because then you'd have to write a character that's kind of as strong or stronger than that to kind of be a threat. Because let's face it, Robotnik's machine isn't going to probably have much hope against Hypersonic. I'm just reading your comment there while playing Supreme Lord. You mean over the entire period? I'm guessing originally, yeah, the entire history would be hundreds of years of the Mobians being alive. I thought you just meant in terms of how long it was when Sonic started his adventure to the end of the series, but yeah, if you're talking about the whole history of like the Mobians and everything, then yeah, I would say hundreds of years, if not thousands. I mean, it's kind of teased, sort of, that Kinterbor came from Earth, because, you know, he technically is the only human character in this series, the only character that looks like a human, so it is kind of teased that he could be from Earth. And Earth is canon to Sonic the Comic. Yeah, that's true. Robotnik did do a pretty good job of getting Sonic, Super Sonic and Unleashed. Still one of the best intros to a Sonic game. Well, I guess it depends what media we're looking at when it comes to the rings and Sonic. In the games, it doesn't really make him any more powerful unless you get 50 and then become Super Sonic. In the some of the other media like SatAM, he uses they call it a power ring, which makes him stronger. Oh yeah, and Sonic X as well, of course. They were a lot smaller in Sonic X. There's Knuckles' bit. Oh dear. Okay, we've got a couple people asking about Origins. Yeah, I'm not going to go into too much of it. I'd recommend watching this video after it's finished and watching the first 10 minutes, because I talk a lot about Origins. But overall, it's a very disappointing and kind of embarrassing release on Sega and Headcanon's part, to be honest. It's a mess. Overpriced as well, very overpriced. We got up there, now we can defeat him easy. There we go. I love this bit where you get in the Egomatic. Tails, sorry, you can't come. Yeah, the Sonic movie 2 did a great job of using the god Jim Carrey. Welcome, Sonics. We're actually playing my favourite way to play these games. This is Sonic Jam. And these games were designed, they weren't emulated, they were actually designed to play on the Sega Saturn hardware. And as it's on a CD and not cartridge, some of the sound effects do sound different because it's on CD. Which is why it might throw you off when you hear things. So it's not your ears, the game isn't breaking, that is just how it plays. Gotta admit, I always thought this boss looked visually impressive, but it's really easy. And obviously you can cheese it if you just keep hitting him like that. But also saying that, it's also probably meant to throw you off, because you can defeat this boss quite easy and then you get big arm, which is definitely a huge difficulty spike compared to this boss. Widescreen version. Yeah, I could play this game in widescreen if I wanted to. I'd just go into the emulation settings and stretch it, but honestly I would rather play it in its native 4:3 aspect ratio. Totally, if people like playing it in 16:9, that's fine. I'm not a big fan of stretching it out, but yeah. Favourite Fleetway character is going to be Robotnik. I'm currently working on part 3 of the retrospective of the character. It's going to be a little while off before it's finished yet, because if you've watched the other ones, you'll see they are very long videos and they take a lot of time. Yeah, but I'm hoping it should be up maybe next month. Maybe, hopefully. Okay, so Sonic 3 is actually native. Well, there you go. The devs of Sonic Air did a better job than Origins, than the actual official development team. You watched them all and you're excited for part 3. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you really enjoyed it. They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun to make. They're a lot of work and a lot of time consuming, but I would like to say by the end of the year, maybe I'll have the whole series done and all 223 issues of Robotnik's life. Yeah, unfortunately, Sonic's, you are correct. The Origins is, yeah, it is a, it's a state, as you've just said. It just feels like such a cheap, tacky cash grab by Sega. The fact that it was digital only, just to maximise profit as well, because they didn't want to spend money to release. Yeah, how much would it have cost them to release a case and a disc, you know, for the game, or a cartridge if it's the Switch version? It's really embarrassing. But yeah, we've reached the end, so we'll let the credits roll and have a little look around the Sonic world on here, and I'm probably going to wrap this stream up, but it's been a lot of fun doing this live stream here with you guys. It's been a long time since I've done any gaming stream with anything like this. I think the last one I did actually was Christmas Day. That's just Sonic R, which was 7 months ago coming up, which is crazy. But you have to get some more of these in. It's a good break for me as well from working on retrospective videos. Yeah, I went into that pretty hard earlier in this video, Dr. Bad Times. The fact that Sega are forcing you. I think a lot of people would have been a bit more forgiving on Origins if Sega hadn't have delisted their original games. It's like they learnt nothing. Did they not see the backlash that Rockstar got when they delisted their original games, forcing you to buy their broken collection game, which are inferior? Obviously, they eventually 180'd and then put them back, but you'd think Sega would have like a marketing team that would kind of be like, you know, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. That's not a good idea. But it's clear that Sega just care about money now. They don't care about making a good product for you to enjoy. They just want money. Okay, there we go. Can't remember how you get back to the... we've got the clear there anyway. How to get back to the menu now on this controller. No, we don't want that. Ah, here we go. You have to go on the game. Let's exit here. There we go. So yeah, it's great. All of these games on here have the original version, and also the new versions. Which is why Sonic Jam's my favourite version to play of these games. You've got all the classics and even the manuals on here, and you can play original, normal, or easy. Let's go back to the museum. I absolutely love this museum world bit here. Obviously the graphics are so nostalgic. It's brilliant. It's also really impressive to see that they've, you know, actually, let's go back. Love that. The movie theatre bit on here is brilliant. There's so much on here. The commercials are brilliant as well. Everything. I'm not going to go on all this, but where is it? The advert for Sonic CD is by far still my favourite advertisement for a Sonic game. It's just so awesome. But that's how you sell a product. Yeah, anyway, that's it. It's also really great, as I was saying before we come in here, that Sega Saturn emulation's really come on well now. I mean, this game plays flawlessly, and I've got a lot of Saturn games on this emulator. Saturn used to be a really hard console to emulate for, but it's kind of been cracked now. I mean, this game is literally running flawlessly. As you can see, this is my Saturn library. I've got obviously so many games on here from the Saturn. Obviously, we've got all the Sonics, but I don't know how many games I've got on here actually. But it's brilliant Saturn library. It's one of my favourite consoles. I haven't got every game on here. How many have I got on here? 197. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, if your PC can handle it, definitely check out some Saturn games. It's a brilliant console. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get physical games from the Saturn anymore because it's become such a collectible market. And the prices are just ridiculous. Not a fan of Sonic CD. Sonic's. It's very strange to see that it's become such a controversial game now. I personally really like the game, but I can understand the criticism people might not enjoy for it. King of Fighters? I think you're talking about Zero X there. I think that's what KOF you've put there. Mega Drive or Saturn OST? A very good question. And to be honest with you, I can't answer that because there's tracks I prefer in the Mega Drive one, and then there's also some tracks I prefer in the Saturn version. So, yeah, they've both got good and, well, there's not really a bad track in there, but there's, yeah. For instance, I prefer the theme of Rusty Ruin in the Saturn version, but then I would prefer the first level, Green Grove, the Mega Drive version soundtrack. So it's kind of like yin and yang. I prefer some of others, some of not. So can't really choose one over the other. Plus, the Mega Drive version was awesome because a lot of the tracks were reused in Sonic Adventure, such as Panic Puppet being used for Twinkle Park, just to name one. So yeah, as I said, if your PC can do it, check out some Saturn games. The ROMs aren't hard. The prices, unless you're rich, it's not worth tracking down the games. It's too expensive. I really don't know the difference between Hyper and Super. What people have turned to now, I'm not sure what the difference is too much between them. The Japanese soundtrack for me is going to be my preferred version of Sonic CD because that's the version we got released here in Europe. We didn't get the US version, so I'm much more accustomed and nostalgic for the original soundtrack. And technically, the Japanese version is the original real version. Some of the American tracks I do like as well, but Toot Toot Sonic Warrior is vastly superior to Sonic Boom. Good level tracks, 40. Definitely good tracks. Can't say for certain whether Hyper appeared in STC Online. I haven't read all of it. Am I a fan of Sonic fan dubs? Some of them are pretty funny, right? But I'm going to wrap this stream up now, guys. But it's been a lot of fun because we are at the end of the game. But maybe I'll do another stream of another game sometime soon and not leave it 7 months again. Because it's been a lot of fun sitting here, chilling, gaming, and chatting with you guys. It's always a blast. And I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to join me here on the stream. Really do appreciate it. I'll just answer the last few questions we've got here before I end it. Sonic Boom is the only good thing. Well, come on. I mean, Sonic CD gave us Metal Sonic and Amy. Have you played any of the Mega Drive Sonic ROM modded games? Yes, I have played. I'll have to load it up next time. I've got so many mods of Streets of Rage 2 on my PC. There's Sonic on there. There's other ones. There's not even just Sonic related. I've got so many other Streets of Rage ones on here. I've also got ones like Shadow in Sonic 1. You know, stuff like that. It's fun. But yes, now I'm definitely going to wrap this up. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for dropping by and asking a question here in the live stream. It's been a lot of fun, as always. All the best to you all, and I shall speak to you soon. Peace out.